Hey everybody, robotshrub here with another devlog for Agraria. So this week I really wanted to start implementing the combat system, specifically the targeting and then the actual nitty-gritty of the combat itself. I also worked on doing all of the interactive blocks, larger blocks, chests. You're going to see a lot has been done. So the first thing I did for the targeting system was add this canvas layer to all the entities that had like these reticles where you could target an object and then switch between them, and also allow you to like click on a entity you want to target, then you would auto lock onto them. So if I boot up the game, you can see that if we zoom in here, we've got like our geese walking around, but there's nothing special about them, they're just geese. But if I happen to switch over to my pine cone wand, a very, very basic like starter weapon you can make, you can see that now target reticles appear on all the geese. And if I tap on a goose, it turns red, and that means I selected it, and I can only have one selected at a time, and I can cycle between them. So the way I really want the combat to work for this game is I want it to be more ranged focused. And the characters are going to be using sort of like these magic gun wands sort of things that are just there to harness magical energy and just make combat flow a little bit easier. Now that we have the targeting system in place, it's time to start actually implementing the combat. And since I want to first just focus on range combat, I need to make the projectiles, and I need to make all the effects that go with it, just because I want the particle effects to have a little bit of oomph to them, especially early on, just so I can see what's going on. So this is like my base particle, and this is like a little nature energy one. I made a little leaf burst effect, for when it hits an object, you can see like little leaves shoot out really quickly. I also made a trail effect, like a little leaf trail, so as the projectile flies across the screen, it'll like have a little trail of leaves. And then I made a little like poof of smoke for when an enemy dies, rip geese, the geese explodes into feathers and other geese drops. You can see like I added a feather, and I made an item you can craft out of it, a bed. So if I boot up the game, you can see that we have a couple of geese, walking around nearby us. And if I switch over to my pine cone wand, I can target a nearby goose, tap the button, and you'll see I will fire a projectile out right at the geese. And when the goose dies, it will drop a feather that I can pick up. You see, now I got some feathers in my inventory. And I can go around, I can fight more geese, but one thing that I really need some help from everybody watching this video is, I want to try to keep the input in that gray box, because that's sort of where the control is going to be happening with your thumb and the vertical controls. But when you're targeting a goose, you have to move your hand up in order to actually click on the entity. So I want to see is it easier just to auto target entities nearest to you, or make it where once you're locked onto a target, you simply turn off your gun, your gun wand, and you'll just fire automatically. Because I want you to be able to target between different entities, enemies. It could be an NPC, could be a monster, could be a bandit, something like that. So I really want to add the ability to specify your target without really needing 6 more joysticks. So please let me know what you guys think, because I can really use some help with that. The next thing on my to-do list of things to add to the game are blocks that are larger than strictly 1 by 1. So I made a new component to my standard block script called block size, a vector 2 of how big the block is. And for example, this bed, it's 1 wide, 2 tall. And I had to rework my block system a little bit, so that way if a block is larger, a 1 by 2, a 2 by 2, a 10 by 10, and a million by a million, it'll be able to handle that and separate the blocks out, upload it to different chunks, so that way the 2 squares both reference the same block, even if they're in different chunks or are handled differently. And it works well right now. It works well, if I try to place a block, it'll see if there's enough space for it, and if there's not, it won't place it. It also allows you to, hit it, and also if I look at the geese here, if I place it down, the geese are able to pathfind around it. They're able to recognize that, it's a block that's not just a 1 by 1. And, it took a little bit of time to get this working properly and get like the rotations and things working. But, now that I have this fairly robust setup, it's going to be a lot easier in the future to implement larger blocks. Now that we can work with blocks that are larger than a 1x1, I wanted to implement interactable blocks because we're eventually going to be working up to having chess work in our game. So I want to be able to tap on a block and interact with it. So for the bed, I made it where if you tap on it using the on pointer down event, it'll just spawn some sleeping particle effects, like the little ZZZs. So this way, it's really, really simple to add this, and I can just drag and drop this onto any block. But this way, for when I add my chests, this way, if I tap on a chest, it'll eventually open up a UI for, switching your inventory and allow you to drag and drop blocks into your chest. Now that we can interact with blocks, such as our future chest, I need to rework the way items work a little bit. So the way the player inventory works right now is that you have a dictionary of item names, those are your keys, and then the value is a reference to an item. But the issue is that you can't really stack things. So what I had to do was make it so the inventory now works like a linked list, where the dictionary is the item name, the dictionary key is the item name, but then the value is the list of item references. So that way it's still really easy to look up objects in your inventory, but now you can stack things appropriately. So I can set for each item what is like the max stack size. So in this example, I was using doors where their max stack size was 8, and I just added a bunch to my inventory to see if it worked. But yeah, now we can add chests. So let's get to that. Now that we've finished doing the setup for the chests, it's time to actually implement them. So this is what the chest object looks like right now. It's pretty simple, and it's just using the basic block script I made, but I added a chest interact script on top of it, and this is just gonna handle the, interacting with the chest. So one thing I did was I made the new UI for interacting with the chest. You can see you have the chest inventory on top, your inventory on the bottom, and you can just drag items between them to make it really, really simple, especially for mobile. So if I boot up the game, you can see that, so the chest has an inventory a lot like the player, and the most difficult thing was making it so that the UI icons for the chest and for this new second inventory screen would work properly and transfer between them. Otherwise, it was pretty simple just to transfer items between each object. So you can see right now, I placed down 2 chests. I'm gonna drag all my stuff into my inventory. Right there, boom. And if I click on one of these chests, you can see the inventory will pop up for the chest. I can drag and drop 3 items in there. I'm just gonna make it a diagonal, it's pretty. And then look at this, it's a different chest. So I can drag different items into them. And if I exit out and go to the other chest, you'll see, oh look, there are my items. So I'm really happy with how this all works. Having a good storage system is really nice. And I also made it where when you break a chest, like I just did, all the items in there shoot out and it looks nice. You get to see all your items in there. So this was, I know it looks pretty simple, but there was a lot of little nitty gritty stuff that went into building these chests, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So I can now actually get some survival-ish gameplay going, and I'll show you guys that in the next clip. Now that we've added chests and combat to the game, I want to show you guys a little bit of gameplay where I'm just going to build a house. Just a very simple task, just start to finish, just having fun with it, just to show you guys, what I have implemented. So I'm going out here, I'm going to kill some geese, get some feathers, get some wood, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just upgrade my crafting tool. It's not going to be that easy in the actual game, but right now it's just a quick little way for me to get a bunch of resources quickly, so this video isn't 45 minutes long. And you can see I'm just going to chop down some trees really quick, get some stone, and then from there, I'm going to craft a bunch of blocks. You can make wood blocks, stone blocks. There'll be a lot more in the future, but right now, those are the 2 ones I have. Just give it a little diversity. I'm also going to craft a bed, because, you can't really have a good house without a bed. And I'm going to make some chests, and I also have a door, which is nice. So, I have all the staples for a good house. I'm going to block it out right now. Just make a little square, just make it look nice. Building's pretty easy. You just move around, press the button, place a block. Very simple. And we're gonna make just a nice little square, decent size. Leave a space for the door. Place the door. Oh, there it is. Now I'm gonna place my chest for storage. Because every house needs some good storage. And last but not least, I'm gonna place my bed. And you can see I can put my items in there. And as you can see, look at that. I built a house in my little survival game. So it's not great, but I'm making progress, and the fact that I can build a little house with all the essentials is really promising for the future. Time for just one more quick small thing I did at the end of this week. I was just so burnt out with coding after doing all the chess stuff that I wanted to draw something nice. So what I did is I took my nightmare base mannequin character and I made a new character. So right now, we have our little guy in gray leather armor. So I was like, hey, let's make another character in gray leather armor, but this time we're gonna make a warrior girl. So you can see she looks nice, we've got cool hair, we've got the animations look nice, and I just wanted to see if all the animations and stuff would transfer over and everything would look nice if I changed the base player sprites. But you can see it looks really nice, and hopefully this will translate later on to a bunch of different customizable character options and just unique NPCs and enemies down the line. Hey, thanks for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just really like posting these devlogs online. I just want to be a part of the community, so thanks a lot.